Chapter 12. Life is full of frayed ends. It is a terrible thing when you show anger to a loved one, never knowing that it might be the last time you are together. Dorothy Mapes, A Concubine's Life. Jessie and Bari had been gone for too long, much too long. Few things could have survived out in the desert for so many days. With aching loneliness in her heart, Dorothy wondered if she would ever see her loved ones again. Though she was a sharp business manager and the financial watchdog of the Lincoln Holdings, she was also a mother and a wife in everything but the title. Her stomach had wrenched itself into a tight knot. As each unsuccessful patrol returned, she lost a fine thread of hope, a little bit of the previous connections she'd had with Jessie and Bari. The friction of her last night with the nobleman had left her full of regrets, guilt, and uncertainty. Should she have demanded that he bow to her wishes? Then Jessie and Bari might not be lost out in the infinite desert. Or should she have been more supportive, even if she disagreed with him? If he ever came home, she knew Jessie would pretend that nothing had happened between them. But he wouldn't forget, and neither would she. The disagreement would hang like a curtain between them. Intellectually, she understood why Jessie had wanted their son to understand hardship, to know how ordinary people lived and worked, to be tempered by real experience and difficult decisions instead of softened by pillows and pampering. But how could a mother not try to make her son as safe as possible? Bari had not yet reached his 9th birthday, and now he was lost out in the arid wasteland, probably dead. When the boy had departed on the transport shuttle with his father, he had looked so dignified, so proud and manlike. She had never seen him look like that before. God, how she hated this place. Dorothy paced down the halls, trying to keep busy, looking for something to occupy her thoughts. If Jessie was gone, should she formally withdraw from the challenge on his behalf? He had designated her his legal proxy in business matters. Without Jessie and Bari, there was no House Lincoln, and the Nobles' Council would no doubt dissolve it, distribute the Lincoln holdings, and absorb the administration into another family. She would go back to Catalan as a commoner again, alone except for her memories. Ahead, she saw Cullington Yue slowly climbing the main stairway, holding the stone railing. The gray-haired old gentleman reached the top short of breath. "Oh, Dorothy, I've been looking for you." "Any word?" Her voice cracked with concern, though she tried to cover it with a dry cough. "Gurney should have been back hours ago." "Not yet, but General Tuek says communications are fully restored, back online after the storm. He's quite interested in getting the spice operations going again. Some of the ships have been improved with live rubber shielding, and they can fly farther and with less risk of malfunction. Oh, and Dr. Haynes has restored a few more satellites. Still, you know how problems can arise. Especially here. I hate those Huskiners for leaving us with junk. No sign of the new spice harvesters or carryalls that you ordered from Ix, either. Yue rubbed his gray mustache. Aren't they overdue? Yes, the first order is a week late. It struck her as odd that the kindly old family physician was interested in spice harvesting equipment, but she appreciated his concern with Jessie while Jessie was gone. Gone. Such a final sound to the word. Her heart sank, but she forced her thoughts into line. Jessie was counting on her to make sure House Lincoln did not fall apart. Something about production delays. Gurney had Gurney had attempted to follow up with an Ixian representative, but hadn't gotten a straight answer, and for the past several days all resources had been devoted to the search for the missing Ornijet. She frowned. You think the Hoskiners might have something to do with that? Accidents happen, Yue said. And some accidents happen on purpose. Sensing her misery, the old man massaged her shoulders and neck with his surgeon's fingers, working pressure points, but she could feel his hands shaking. This used to make my wife wanna relax. Your wife? I didn't know you were married, Cullington. Oh, it was a long time ago. She died. Something I couldn't cure. That's why I try my best to heal everyone else. He gave a bleak smile. Yue was a self-described splint and pill man, earning his early medical experience on Grumman's world, a distant planet replete with odd swamp maladies and native fruits that oozed contact poisons. He had joined House Lincoln years ago as their dedicated physician, claiming he wanted a peaceful, out-of-the-way place like Catalan. Here on Dune World, though, he seemed out of his depth. Dorothy eased his hands away. Thank you, Cullington. I feel much better. His hazel eyes were filled with concern. No, you're still worried, but I appreciate your saying so anyway. Then he ambled off on one of his many errands. Rarely did she see the doctor take a break. Dorothy headed for the south wing. Encountering one of the maids, she requested a pot of strong spiced tea and a large cup on a tray. Then, carrying the tray herself, Dorothy took a spiral staircase up to the 4th level. The melange would soothe her, and so would the conservatory. She pressed the hollow stone on the dead-end wall. When the hidden door slid open with a hiss, she stepped inside and was assailed by the heavy odor of dead and decaying plants. Not a soothing place, after all. The secret conservatory had suffered for weeks, since she had shut off the irrigation system and diverted the water to vital uses. The speckled fungi had already collapsed into mush, while the once verdant ferns had turned a sickly, yellowish brown. Formerly bright and colorful flowers were dried up now, with discolored petals scattered on the caked soil. Only a few plants still clung to life, though they had no hope of surviving. Scuttling insects darted in and out among the dead plants, feeding off the remains. The decay had turned into a feast for the tiny scavengers, and they'd been reproducing madly. But that niche of life, like the rest of the enclosed ecosystem, would also end soon. These plants were victims of an untenable situation, trapped in a place where they did not belong. Like House Lincoln, she thought, barely surviving on this barren world, hoping our lives would be returned to us. Feeling gloom wash through her, Dorothy placed the tray on the Plaz table and brushed dirt and dead insects off a chair before sitting down. She poured the rich, aromatic tea into her cup, and steam escaped into the air. Lost moisture. As she lifted the cup to her lips, a rush of cinnamon tickled her nostrils. Only she and Jessie knew this place existed, and only the two of them knew that the plants would soon all be dead. She could be completely alone here, undisturbed with her thoughts, though she doubted she would find any solutions. Dorothy finished the spice tea, and as melange seeped into her body, her mind's eye projected vivid images of watery, dreamlike Catalan. If only she and her family could be back there again. But mere wishes could not transport them home, could not erase the unfortunate events that had brought them here. Where were Jessie and Barry now? What if William English himself had secretly remained loyal to the Hoskynairs? Had he dumped their lifeless bodies in the desert to shrivel like the plants around her? Tears streamed down her cheeks. On this world, they called it giving water to the dead.